Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L, and today let's talk My Hero Academia, this time specifically talking about dynamics between two My Hero Academia villains, Shigaraki and the new villain Overhaul, and what I'm betting is ultimately going to happen between these two. So here's what we're going to cover in the video. It's just pretty much going to be very quick overviews on both characters, ultimately just putting it together for the conclusion that I'm trying to push in this video. So what I expect, or rather what I want to happen between these two, is Chisaki subordinating himself to Shigaraki. The reason I want this is because Chisaki's quirk Overhaul, or the dismantle and reassemble quirk, has shown that it's extremely effective at healing people. When you have Chisaki's quirk in the picture, it allows for a scenario in which All For One could make a comeback in the story. And the way I think about it is, Chisaki gets wrapped up with Shigaraki, they go and launch a prison break, and with Chisaki, they could realistically get All For One to a way better condition than he is in now. Just for the record, Overhaul healed chronic illnesses and even cavities, and the big thing is it indicates that old injuries can be negated by the reassemble aspect of Chisaki's quirk. That's pretty incredible. One For All being healed because of his students' actions, might end up being one of the more extreme rewards we could have from Chisaki falling under Shigaraki. And for me, the potential of that reward is what makes me want to see that. I think that would be excellent. Thankfully, we have gotten some indications that at the very least, Shigaraki acquiring Overhaul could happen. The story has given us some clues, and the characters' patterns have planted the seeds for some potential scenarios. So we know that Chisaki and Shigaraki initially met due to a failed recruiting session. It got really bloody. After that, me personally, I just saw Chisaki as a stepping stone for Shigaraki's development. We know that Shigaraki learns from observing other villains and how they do things. So at that point, I was just thinking that Chisaki was going to be someone that Shigaraki was going to end up destroying. And, also surpassing, like taking the best from the person and making it twisted in Shigaraki's own special way. What initially got me more invested in Shigaraki recruiting Chisaki, however, was season 2 of the anime during one of the Stain episodes. In that episode, I was reminded of Shigaraki's party composition, and specifically that he didn't have a healer yet. I think that was a flag that he does want that type of member. Shigaraki has his video game metaphors, and we know that his game evolved from an RPG to a strategy type game, but I think his party composition metaphor is still relevant, it's still valuable, and it stands in the background. Furthermore, his video game metaphors are really important since they reflect how he interprets life. In the recent chapters, they were made relevant again when Chisaki made the mistake of implicating himself in them. So in one of the chapters, we see them discussing their arrangement, and Chisaki teaches Shigaraki about shogi, and the quality that he highlights is specifically the one about piece acquisition, that you can use pieces you take from your opponent. The moment he played into that game metaphor, he put himself into Shigaraki's rhetoric. He's playing in Shigaraki's world. He set himself up for Shigaraki to come back and launch that shogi logic at him, while also taking it a step further in that the piece that Shigaraki's going to take is going to be the leader, not just a simple piece. But we've seen Chisaki, and we've seen how devoted he is to his boss. For him to switch alliances, it's gonna require an extreme situation, and it's gonna require a lot of charisma from Shigaraki. But that's also something we've seen from Shigaraki as of late. He was able to inspire feelings in his people. Him having a moment where he wins over a pawn is reasonable given the setup that we've had so far. The tough part is Chisaki, because right now, he just is standing in a better place than Shigaraki. He has more power. After all, he's in the middle of his plans, he's got his convictions, and things seem to be working out for him right now, or at least they were working out for him before the heroes arrived. But thankfully, the recent chapters have given us some important lines to consider. One being that Chisaki has discarded his name Chisaki in favor of Overhaul, and also his boss said a line about no one wanting to follow a man without a heart. Of course, I might be paraphrasing a little bit. First, with discarding his name, that signifies he's embraced the villain type identity more than we initially assumed. The second line might be foreshadowing that he is going to lose his place and he's going to lose his leadership position as well. We've had the characterization for Shigaraki before. We've been told how he is a unique evil that can draw people to him. So when you look at the narrative so far, you have Shigaraki, who has been established as a leader with potential in the world of villains, and then you have Chisaki, who is changing his identity from Yakuza to villain, which is something that's been pounded to our minds throughout the current arc, whether it be through Chisaki's immediate subordinates or whether it be through the old Yakuza. So in order to get Chisaki under Shigaraki's flag, the scenario that I would expect in order to make it happen is one where Chisaki is totally thwarted by the heroes. He loses everything, he loses his organization, he loses his expendables, and he's on the run. He's pretty much beaten, like there is no way this guy's gonna be recovered. And then Shigaraki, like some kind of unholy messiah, comes out of nowhere and invites him into the villains again. To recruit Chisaki, Shigaraki needs to come to him when this guy is at his worst. If this happens though, it's gonna call back to the previous things that were established. It will call back to Shigaraki's need for a healer. It will call back to the shogi metaphor. It will call back to the boss's line about following someone with a heart, and it will also showcase Shigaraki's growth. That growth being one of the most important elements, one of the most important recurring elements in Hero Academia. So, in closing, Chisaki is a gangster who started playing in a world where Shigaraki grew up in. The narrative with Toga and Twice berates the Yakuza, sees them as lesser, as good for nothings. So things are arguably set up in such a way that will cement that the Yakuza are inferior to the villains coming out of the age of heroics, and that Shigaraki might be the one that will cement that reality into Chisaki. That's what I am betting on. So guys, those are my general thoughts. I'm hoping for Shigaraki acquiring the asset that is Overhaul. I think it would just be a major victory for Shigaraki and his development. And guys, that's pretty much the end of the video. I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you think this holds water? Do you think things are set up in such a way to support that kind of conclusion? Would you guys like to see Chisaki falling under Shigaraki? Yeah, let me know down below. Other interesting things to note though, we're probably going to see the prison again because Stain has been set. We're probably going to see the prison again. Stain is in there. At the very least, the author is going to be showing that prison. So it's still a relevant thing. If Chisaki ends up in the same prison as the other two, that would also be an interesting scenario. But yeah, those were just afterwards. Guys, let me know down below, like I said, and hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, I hope you have a great day.